For the past 23 hours, we've been examining the truth about the global climate change from every time zone around the world. As we did at the beginning of the broadcast, we'd like to welcome a very special guest. He's the founder and chairman of the Climate Reality Project, and he's with us tonight. Please welcome Mr. Al Gore.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. I want to thank the over 8 million people who have tuned in to watch 24 Hours of Reality. The one thing that we all have in common is the adverse effects that the climate crisis is having on our individual communities in all regions of the world, and the common opportunity to solve this crisis. As we have said, climate change is really not a political problem, it is a human problem. And it is a problem that we can solve together. And actually, somewhere, there may be a world where the temperatures are really not getting hotter, where people are not suffering the effects of the heat waves. There may be an Earth somewhere where the rainstorms are not getting bigger, where the fires are not spreading wildly and burning hotter and more intensely and burning longer. Somewhere there may be such an Earth, but it's not this Earth. In Pakistan, devastating floods. We all saw and felt the suffering of those who were caught in these incredible floods that covered a vast area of Pakistan. 20 million people affected by this flood, further destabilizing a nuclear-armed country. In Brazil, mudslides killed many hundreds of people covered up with mud, and there were some heroic rescues, neighbors rescuing neighbors in many cases. Why are there so many more big downpours and floods throughout the world? Global warming has now changed the conditions in which all storms form. Here is the linkage between the climate crisis on the one hand and the increased frequency and severity of extreme weather events on the other hand. As CO2 increases, so does temperature. This is very well understood by the scientists, and this shows 2,000 years of CO2 and 2,000 years of temperature. CO2 drives the temperature up. As the temperature goes up, the amount of water vapor that evaporates off the oceans also goes up. Warmer air can hold a lot more water vapor. The air above the oceans now has 4% more water vapor than just 30 years ago. And that causes more floods, but it also causes deeper and longer droughts. And here's why. The energy from the heat that evaporates the moisture off the oceans sucks the moisture out of the land. And so the droughts are deeper. This is a map of China drawn in June. The red areas and the dark brown areas are the places where the droughts are extreme and severe. The Amazon has been drying out, and where there is drought, the likelihood of fire goes up significantly. The U.S. drought conditions right now, 95% of the state of Texas is in extreme or exceptional drought. This was just last week. 2,600 homes were burned. There is a direct link between temperature and fire. When the temperature goes up, the likelihood of fires goes up significantly. It's reality, and we have to take it on board. So let me take just a few of the commonly presented arguments or statements of those who deny the reality of the climate crisis. You will frequently hear them say, there's no scientific consensus. The scientists don't agree. Well, actually, Every National Academy of Science of every major country in the entire world agrees on this. Everyone. The ones that disagree really do not exist. They seem curiously certain that the one thing that couldn't possibly have anything to do with the climate crisis is the 90 million tons of global warming pollution that we're putting into the atmosphere every 24 hours. Well, they have some theories. Here's one.
When you look at a volcanic eruption, which I've seen scientists reveal that this could be 50,000 times what man's involvement in terms of creating CO2 would be, you begin to scratch your head and wonder, wait a minute, what is this?
Well, here's what it is. It is a red herring. Which source emits more CO2? Volcanoes or humans? They actually know. They have satellite systems that can measure it very precisely now. And the amount from humans is between 135 to 230 times more. What else? Well, here's one possibility.
It's called sunspots. Yes, solar activity. That explains why one sees similar temperature cycles on Mars and Jupiter to the cycles that are happening on this planet. That's why ice caps on those planets, like on ours, expand and contract. It's the sun, stupid.
Actually, the solar energy coming to the Earth hasn't changed that much. It actually has gone down in the last 25 years. And here's what's happened to the temperature during that period. The clues are everywhere, and they're all completely consistent. There are 12 separate and different lines of evidence that all show significant human-caused warming. The 10 hottest years ever measured in the world, since the measurements were first done with instruments starting in the 1880s, have been within the last 13 years. The hottest of all was last year. We are at a fork in the road. Accepting the reality is the key to making the right choice. We have the solutions at hand. All over the world, we are seeing a shift toward renewable energy. China is now leading the way. North Africa has a massive, ambitious project to provide solar energy and wind energy to Western Europe. The Vatican has the goal of being the first carbon-neutral country. They have two advantages. They're very small, and God is on their side. But the proposed new coal plants, many of them have been canceled for grassroots pressure. The planting of trees, China and India are helping to lead the way. So what can you do? First of all, speak up. Win the conversation. Don't let denial go unchallenged. Then deepen your commitment by making choices about your energy consumption and your consumer purchases. Let businesses know that they need to continue moving in this direction. Changing laws is even more important than changing light bulbs. Tell your leaders that you are paying attention. Tell them, I care about this. I'm watching. If you do the right thing, I'm going to help you get elected or reelected. If you don't, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that you're defeated. Because even though there may be an earth somewhere out there where reality doesn't matter at all, it really is not this earth. This earth is the one we have to care about. It's the only earth that we will ever have, or love, or tend and take care of for our children and for their children. That is the decision that we have to make, and that simple truth is reality. Thank you very much for coming.